Happy New Year, everybody! We're kicking off 2022 with record numbers. Sadly, of Swedish COVID cases rather than the channel, but I promise you this video would be a look back at 2021 in numbers, so let's get to the numbers for the channel instead. In this video, I'll be going through things split into YouTube first, Twitch second, and then some other stuff. I asked in the previous channel update if there were any specific stats you'd like to see, and since some of those didn't fit into any particular section, I'll answer some more of them later. I'll toss in a section about my personal life and some stats about my year, and we'll end with a look ahead on the content that's coming this year and how things are changing. Okay, so, YouTube. I posted 166 public videos on the main channel in 2021, gaining a total of 3,076,230 views. That's a 4% increase compared to 2020. The total watch time of that is 158,059 hours, which is down 3% compared to 2020. The channel gained 18,359 subscribers, which is 17% better than 2020, which is perhaps the most encouraging number of this entire rundown. Thank you to everyone who subbed, you're all stars. The channel got 3 new members, which is up 200% from 2020. Thank you so much for the support, I do appreciate it. The top 3 videos of the year were the 1.18 update video at 185,458 views, the 1.16.5 update video coming in with 168,296 views, and yes, 1.16.5 was released in 2021, even though it feels like about the time of the dinosaurs. You'd expect the third place video to be another update video like the 1.17 one, but it's not. It's actually this one, with 86,676 views in 2021. More on that later. The channel revenue grew by 44% compared to last year, mostly because ad rates are recovering somewhat on YouTube, even though the CPM for gaming content is still absolutely abysmal. So let's look at some other questions you all had. Can we see the subscriber gain during the first looks at Caves and Cliffs content? So, I've interpreted that question as pertaining to the new terrain generation content. That got released primarily over the summer, with the first experimental snapshot video out on July 13th, leading up to the first full snapshot video for 21W37A on September 15th. Channel gained 3,500 subs over that time, with an average of about 200 attributable to each of the experimental snapshot videos and 21W37A. That's pretty good, but not spectacular. In terms of the year in review stats, are there any noticeable trends since you started experimenting with the videos? So if you haven't been around for a longer time, the experimentation this refers to is that I've tried to learn about how to make videos that the YouTube algorithm will rank higher. This started with the 21W37A snapshot video, so let's contrast that with the previous first snapshot in a series, which was 20W45A. They're almost exactly the same length, the new one got more views, more watch time and hours, and has more subscribers gained. The big differences are in other stats though. Viewer retention is much better for the newer video, with 48.7% average viewed versus 37.4% for the older one. And engagement is much higher, with 3,254 likes versus 1,790 likes for the old one, and 196 comments versus 146. A more telling comparison is between the 1.17 and 1.18 update videos, where views are up a ton, watch time in hours is up a ton even though the video is much shorter, subscriber gain is noticeably higher, and so on. The stats for age and maybe gender would be interesting. Smile. So let's look at the audience demographics for the channel and for the last year. I'll mostly let you look over this for yourselves, since it's a little too much data to read out. I will note that I have some doubts as to exactly how accurate this data is. Not only is the data restricted to people who have logged into their Google accounts, but there's also a tendency for people to use false data when signing up for online accounts, for a variety of different reasons. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a large spike of my viewers who happen to be born on the 1st of January, for instance. Another reason that I doubt this data is that the gender split doesn't match the one I see in the parts of the community that interact with me, which leads me to believe that Google has some form of default interpretation of a viewer as male or something similar. I've seen examples of a channel where the analytics says 100% of viewers were male, when this was clearly not the case, so take these numbers with a good serving of salt. Is this channel part of your job? I bring this up because it came up both as a direct question and also as other misunderstandings relating to the notification problems and in other situations where people think I should use my affiliation with Microsoft for one benefit or other. So let me once again be very clear. This channel is my own, and it's completely disconnected to what I do as a job. It started before I joined Mojang, and would continue if I left. And all the time I put into making videos, streaming, or anything else connected to the channel is done outside of my working hours. You'll sometimes see videos posted during working hours, especially on my normal publish time of 4:15 PM Central European Time. But those videos are always pre-scheduled for release at that time. You'll also see me tweet video announcements when they go live, which is also done automatically. I know that it seems weird to some of you, especially newer viewers who have only ever seen me both as a developer and content creator at once. But it's actually really important to me. This channel is my own, and in a career full of making things in teams and being hugely influential over products that have sold so many millions of copies, it represents the one thing that I've ever made that is entirely made by me and for me. That's why it'll always remain important for me to keep things entirely separate, and just as important that the videos I make here are good because I'm good at making content, not because I have a certain day job. Let's make a quick detour to my second channel. If you're not familiar with it, that is Lime Uncut, my channel for anything that I don't want wrecking my YouTube algorithm score even more, which is currently mostly stream archives. The channel is currently sitting at 1,048 subs, of which 486 subbed in 2021. Thank you! It got 23,186 views and ended up with 7,812 hours viewed, up 98% from 2020. This was enough to re-monetize the channel after YouTube arbitrarily changed its requirements a while back and made a whopping $9 over the year. The top two videos are the archive of the first Chaos mod playthrough I did, which gets a lot of views because it was added as a showcase of the mod itself by the author, and one of the custom world making streams I did where I made a shroom cave biome. Let's move on to Twitch. I ran 143 streams in 2021 for a total of 660 hours, which is slightly less than the 700 hours I streamed in 2020. Average viewer count was 133, which is up significantly from 97 in 2020. The channel had 13,210 follows, which is up from 11,010 the year before, and also doesn't matter one single bit, because looking at my total follower count of 15,302, it's clear that the majority of the follows are either people who end up unfollowing, fake accounts, or bot spam. Or the Twitch stats are just broken, who knows? Oh well. In total, the Twitch channel got 94,760 views, an increase of about 22% over 2020. The number of subs on the channel grew by 39% to 1,590, which means 1,590 individual one-month subscriptions, not 1,590 simultaneous subscribers, to be clear. Despite this, revenue dropped by about 19%, mostly due to a huge drop in the number of bits used on the channel. And since it's a hot topic, the ads I'm forced to play by Twitch make up less than 5% of that revenue. Let's quickly talk about Patreon too. I now have 28 patrons, thank you so much. That is up 7 from last year at the same time, although this number does tend to fluctuate a bunch. So in total, this ends up with this split of revenue into the channel. Despite the decreased revenue from Twitch and the increased revenue from YouTube, Twitch still accounts for a larger income than YouTube. Given the total time spent, the total amount is still far below what would be minimum legal wage in the US, so if you're thinking that this is something I'm only in for the money, think again. Let me go through some personal stats too then. I've gained 1 wife and 1 kid. Formally, since my adoption of Kiddo is now complete, Kiddo is now actually Kiddo. Sadly, I only started trekking in July, but since then I hiked 203 kilometers over 33 different days, covering a total elevation change of 3,275 meters. I got back in control of my body, at least to some degree, and lost 11 kilos of weight over the year. I got 2 shots of vaccine despite the absolute disaster that is Swedish COVID management, and on a rare few occasions got to see some of my closest friends and family again. That was nice. I also once again completely underestimated how much rest I need, especially after such a draining period as November was, so my apologies for the somewhat lower level of activity here since then. I needed to take some more time away to just rest. Now, before we look forwards, let me try to answer a couple of questions that didn't really fit in anywhere else. How many blocks you flew in total in the videos you showed across the channel over the whole of 2021? Guesstimate is fine. I honestly have no idea. It's probably less than you think, since many of the flyovers for terrain showcases and such were pretty local, focused on a certain mountain or such. Definitely in the tens of thousands of blocks, maybe 100,000, certainly far from 1,000,000. I want to know the Withering Energy stats, please. Who got to be commander the most? So I don't have those statistics, and I don't know if Logic does either. Let me step behind the scenes here for a moment if you have no idea what I'm talking about. For Legacy Season 2, Logical Geek Boy started building Quantum Reef City, QRC. QRC was very particularly chosen since it also does mean QR code. The whole city was shaped like one, which, when scanned, went to a Legacy web page. This was all his mastermind, so credit where credit is due. It was a fantastic idea and superbly executed. I joined in the project a while through and helped build some of the buildings in the city. It was particularly challenging with some things like the Citadel of Power, which is a predominantly black building that actually shows up as mostly white on a map. I also helped out come up with some of the ideas for what would be on the page and implement some of the in-game functionality. Wither Commander was one of them, where your skin would be added as a head on an armor stand on the server, made possible through a combination of the webpage and a custom mod I wrote. So sadly I don't know if we have a scoreboard or any kind of logs for it. I did want to mention one of the other rewards though, Eye of the Withers, which gave you a glimpse of a behind the scenes thing. Short, unlisted videos that provided a fun perspective. Since the season is over and those videos are no longer a part of the House of the Withers, I've made a playlist of them that you can get to in the description and linked on this video. Looking forwards. An interesting thing here is that third video from the YouTube stats of the year. One question I keep having to ask myself is, why is my channel not growing as fast as many others? I think this video is a key part of the answer. What's the main drive of this channel? News videos, I hear you all say in a choir. News videos are great because they bring in a lot of viewers and many of you subscribe for more news content. So what's the problem with news videos? Well, they're almost worthless as a back catalog. In contrast, many of my other videos are still awesome to watch. I've seen new viewers go back and watch earlier seasons of Legacy, my old challenge runs, or modded playthroughs and enjoy it, but let's be real, you're not going to be that interested in the changes in Snapshot 16W50A. It might seem unreasonable to bring up a video from 2016, but let me blow your minds here. Let's look at the top video on my channel, which is actually not a news video. It's again that first beginner command blocks tutorial. Even in 2021, it was the third best video of the channel, and in total it's closing in on 900,000 views, which is more than 3 times as much as the best update video. That's despite being released in 2015 and relating to an outdated command syntax in an ancient game version. I never want to be cutthroat about this channel. If I was 100% focused on its success as a business, it's clear what I would need to do, but some things here are important to me. I love making things like the Legacy videos, even if they aren't as popular or successful, because that is art. And it's an art form that I find very rewarding in a way that I don't for some other types of videos, at least not as much. As an aside, this means that your comments, likes, and just about any type of support for that type of content means a whole lot to me. So if you do like those videos, please remember to show that support. At the same time, I feel like I do need to spend more time building that type of back catalog, with videos that hit that spot of both being more widely sought after and also not immediately going out of date like the news videos do. Like command block tutorials, teaching things from scratch. So that's what we're going to do. I've been working on a new beginner commands tutorial series updated for 2022 and Minecraft 1.18. It'll be much more interactive than the previous series and much more thorough. The idea is that it'll start the same way, assuming that you don't know anything about commands, command blocks, functions, and so on, but that it'll go on much further, teaching you more than what the previous series did. I hope to be able to branch the series off eventually into other related topics as well, like loot tables, advancements, and so on. Like I mentioned before, I've been resting more than I thought I would, and the series isn't quite as ready to start as I originally hoped. But I am working on it, and I hope that I'll be able to have the first episode out soon. That's all. I hope you've had a fantastic start to this year and that you're looking forward to the upcoming content. This was definitely a longer channel update than most. I hope you've enjoyed it. The comments are open. Let me know what you think. Slicedlime out.